Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Jay from Keeping It Real, your arbiter of gaming news and commentary, hitting you off with a studio production video where you know this is your channel, where all gamers' voices are heard. With your boy Jay, always dropping the word. Keeping them other gaming YouTubers like, what you heard? And where you always know, we always keep it all the way real. What's up, YouTube? You know what time it is. The places where your gamers' voices are heard, and your boy Jay is dropping that word. So yeah. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I thought it was another time to drop another piece, man. Just me speaking my piece and putting my 2 cents in. I mean, like usual, man, things have turned up a notch to a serious fevering pitch, and we're seeing just the shenanigans out there, man. So I thought it was just time for me to drop my piece on what's been going on, man, for those of you who still like to hear the content, man, see what's on my mind. Yeah, man. So this discussion, man, I've really been thinking a lot about this, especially seeing the craziness that's going on with Sony versus Microsoft and their strategies and business models that they're implementing for this next generation, man. It couldn't be a more stark difference. And I think, man, I wanted to just dig into the issue of why the PS5 is the real reason of why the PS5 is such a crap console. And man, this is a big issue, man, that you guys know. Anybody who's like been watching me or listening to me, man, for a minute, they know since last generation, I've really been on this and been speaking out about this, man. And I think one thing that really irritates me, man, there's a big difference between someone who's just a starch fanboy, in my opinion, which would be an individual who, no matter what, no matter all the wrongs, no matter anything that happens wrong or a company's doing wrong, they're just loyal to the brand of what it is. That's all they care about, and they'll defend it to the end. There's a difference between that and someone who sees what a company's doing. They see they understand, hey, what's the direction of where this company is going, and they agree with that direction, and they're willing to have the confidence and the wherewithal to say, hey, I'm going to speak, even when it's not popular to other people. I'm going to speak up about it because I can see what they're doing, and I'm for that. And I don't care if other people, it's not popular to other people or not. I'm going to speak up and say the truth about the positive things that it does have, and I think for me, I soundly fit in that category, then of course you have other gamers where they don't really care. It's like, whatever, they're not going to speak up about anything. They just play video games, and that's great, man. There's nothing wrong with that. There's always going to be people who are going to be more voiceful. There's people who are not, and then there's people who are in between, right? I just fit in that category where I don't care about popularity. I don't care about all that. When I do YouTube, it's not to have 1 million subscribers and to actually make a bunch of money out of YouTube. I have an actual job. I don't care about YouTube, and that's no disrespect to any YouTubers. I think it's a job in a sense. It's commentary. It's entertainment, and that's great. When I say I have an actual job, I just mean I'm not trying to make a job out of YouTube. I think a lot of guys who are YouTubers, it may start out as a hobby. It may not. They may be serious about it to make a career out of it. But it's something you're gonna have to spend years working at. Especially with the YouTube algorithm, you're vastly gonna be not really in a great position to it be equally and fair for you as you starting out. You're gonna have the algorithm is gonna be tough, man. You're gonna have to really actually put in some money, some definite, some time to really trying to advertise yourself and put yourself out there, and for me, that's just not a thing for me, man. I have a job does just fine for me, and I'm doing just fine. I don't really need YouTube to make money out of it. So for me, it's just keeping it real and just saying what I feel and just speaking my mind. And I just feel that's a really important thing, man, because I watch a lot of these, YouTube guys out there like Diller and Coase Eastwood and Zacher and a lot of these other guys, man. I'm just going to drop the names. And I just really see, a lot of these guys at the same time when I was speaking about, when the Series S came out, or not the Series S, the Xbox One S came out. I think this was the time when Phil Spencer was really turning things around. I could see the direction that Microsoft was doing. When they implemented Game Pass, of course, it wasn't the greatest when it first came out. It was a lot of work that Microsoft had to put into Game Pass to make it what it is today. But I could see the vision of what they were doing. And for me, it was clear from the beginning that they were gearing up to make this generation that we're currently in the best generation for Microsoft and for Xbox, and that they were not going to allow Sony to have that same, they were not going to go into this generation with that same reputation of what the last generation started with. I think they were determined from that. And to me, it was pretty clear that that's what it was when you just simply seen the investment that they did with the Series S and the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. Just that investment in what they did pretty much to me was pretty clear that they were not going to be undersold in this next generation, and that they were going to do everything they could to win this next generation. So to me, that gave me all the confidence to know what direction they were going in and what they were trying to do. So people like me, unlike a lot of these other Xbox guys out here, to me, I just felt like they weren't confident. They were still to this day, they're very passive aggressive. They wait until the mainstream gaming media starts speaking on something before they have enough balls to actually start speaking on it. Now, this is not for everything, but my criticism is for, things like just not having confidence in what Microsoft is doing when you can clearly see what they're doing, but yet the mainstream media is not saying it. So I'm just going to hang back and then I'm going to criticize it too. I don't know if you guys, any of you guys listen to this may notice how when the mainstream media starts to actually say something, that's when you see a lot of these Xbox guys saying something. But when they're not saying it, they're kind of passively aggressively saying it. Give you an example. There was a certain somebody when smart delivery came out, and it was getting a lot of, oh, well, that's just a buzzword, it's marketing, who cares, right? You're getting this type of stuff from the Sony fanboys, right? And there was a certain somebody, I ain't gonna name this guy, but if y'all know who he is, you know who he is, and you know what he said, was saying, oh, PlayStation was gonna have that too. I'm sure PlayStation, they're gonna have a solution for this. So yeah, it's just not gonna be called smart delivery, but I'm sure they're gonna have a solution for this. Okay, and I was thinking when I listened to that, I was like, why would you even think that? How does that make sense? Like, there's nothing that Sony has shown that they would have a solution for that. They don't even have expandable storage at this point. So, so that is even a problem, let alone them having a smart delivery type of mechanism in their hardware where, hey, they could easily be able to update, cross-gen games for the PS5. Like, they don't seem to have any mechanism like that in their PS5 that I've noticed. So why would you just assume they'll come up with a solution and they'll just have it? Like, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about with these so-called Xbox guys. It's like they just, when it comes to when it comes to PlayStation, it's just like, oh, we just assume the best. We just give them, a benefit of the doubt, assume the best. But when it comes for Xbox, imagine if Xbox didn't have a solution for that, right? Do you think these same Xbox guys would just be like, oh, they'll fix it, it'll just have a solution? No, man, they will be hot, yelling, whining, bickering, being all upset. You know, imagine if Xbox, think about this, when it comes to this, one of these newest issues of Sony PS5, where literally they don't have any real external storage solution or internal storage solution. When you can upgrade your storage, you literally have to break it down like you do a PC, and then have to figure out a memory stick that's going to fit, and then have a heating solution where it's, you know, it's not going to overheat. I mean, you're having to do all the stuff. It's like, what's the point? A console is supposed to be convenient. It's not supposed to be all these complicated things that you have to try to figure out and do. It's just absurd. But the funny thing, imagine if that was the Xbox. Imagine if you needed a screwdriver to stand upright the Xbox. Do you think these same guys that you hear over and over again, these Xbox guys telling you that the PS5 is a great console, do you think they will be saying the Xbox was a great console? If it was underpowered, if you literally needed a screwdriver to stand it upright, and it didn't even have, it did have less than a terabyte of space, and you still didn't even have a true storage upgrade solution for it, do you think with all of those flaws that you would be hearing these same Xbox guys say that the Series X was a great console? Fuck no. Do you know why you hear it? You hear it because their industry, meaning that, oh, they just go along with whatever the media is saying. If the media, the game media is saying it, they want to look like they're not Xbox fanboys, because that's not gaming media friendly. You know, when the funny thing is, the gaming media has just as many fanboys. They fanboy out all the time, whether if it's for PlayStation or for Nintendo, and recently you kind of seeing it a little bit for Xbox, but that's mostly just because Xbox is becoming a lot more popular with the media now. So, and they're just speaking out about the truth about it. It's just a better console, and Xbox is just a way better platform at this point with what they're doing with Game Pass and what they're providing with their hardware. So yeah, you're seeing some of the gaming media just grow some balls and just speak the truth. But I mean, if you really think about it, these Xbox guys, they wait until the gaming media tells them what to do. Then, okay, I want to make sure I'm a industry YouTuber and keep with the mainstream. So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, now Xbox it's great, it's this and that. And not to say that these guys have not been defending or just speaking on the truth about what Xbox to do. No, I think they've done that to a degree. My issue is when they're so very passive aggressive, or they make assumptions that Sony's gonna do the same thing or do whatever when there's no evidence to that at all. It's like, why would you make that assumption? And they say stupid shit like, the PS5 is a great console. It's some shit that it just pisses me the fuck off, because it's not true. Don't say something's a great console when it's not. No, just call it out for what it is. You could clearly say, hey, it's not as great as I would like it to be, and I hope Sony will get their act together and improve upon their console. But to sit there and to say it's a great console when it has all these glaring issues with it, right? It's just retarded, man, and it's just nonsensical, and it's completely contradictory to the truth. I mean, you don't even see a lot. Some PlayStation guys are just calling it out and saying, this console, I'm moving over to Xbox because I'm so disgusted with what Sony is doing right now. Like, so how are you as an supposedly Xbox guy, sitting here saying some crap like, oh, it's a great console? It's like, no, bro, you're just saying that so you could just like not look like you're a fanboy. But the funny thing is, these Sony fanboys are going to think you're a fanboy no matter what. If you say one good thing about Xbox, you're Xbox fanboy to these assholes. So why care about what they say? You know what I mean? It just really trips me out where, I mean, it's the same thing where this so-called thing about, Xbox has no games. I keep telling these morons, dude, you do know these Sony fanboys are going to say Xbox has no games, no matter how many games Xbox has. You do know they literally just say this shit to get under your skin. And what do these Xbox guys do? They fall for the stupid shit every time where they're, oh, well, it doesn't have games right now, but it will. I mean, you're fucking stupid. Like, no, it has dude, Xbox has so many fucking games, I can't even play them all, bro. Most people on Xbox, I guarantee you, have so many games in their backlog, it's not even funny. And here you are admitting, oh, Xbox has no games. It's like, okay, you're stupid. And sure, you could argue, hey, Xbox, it's next generation games that has not released yet, and that's what your argument is. But okay, then you could argue that same thing for PlayStation, because PlayStation, as of yet, okay, if you want to call Demon Souls a fucking a remake of an old game is a next generation game, you go ahead. If you want to call Ratchet and fucking Clank a stylized game that is a full-fledged next generation game, you go ahead and want to call it that. You go ahead. But I wouldn't call it that. You know why? Because all that shit could easily play on the PS4. And the only thing that holds up Ratchet, the only one that may not run on a PS4 is Ratchet and Clank. And that's only because Ratchet and Clank really utilizes the SSD, right? But but the developers themselves said that it could run on a PS4. They could do tricks to have that same game run on a PS4. Obviously, it wouldn't be as smooth as a PS5 with the SSD, but it could still run in regards to graphics and frame rate and all of the things that it takes for a game. It would still run. Why? Because it's still not a next generation, full-fledged next generation game. Why? Why do you think? Why do you think both Sony's flag exclusives are being pushed back? Think about this. God of War, is it coming out this year? Fuck no. Look at what just happened with Horizon Dawn. Is it coming out this year? Hell no. That should tell you something. That should tell you these next generation, full-fledged next generation games take time. They are not going to just be able to shit these games out. So any games that you're seeing within the launch window, these are not next-gen full-fledged games. This is the reason why Sony put out literally Spider-Man Morales. This was a DLC of a PS4 game. They just spruced it up to make it look like it was a PS5 game, charging you $70 for it. This is the reason why they did all this, because they know they don't have any full-fledged next-generation games until at least 2 years out. Okay? When God of War showed, they just showed a logo. I knew damn well Sony was full of fucking shit like usual. All they do is lie. That that game wasn't coming out this year. All these people getting excited, you just getting played like usual. That game was not coming out. Even when Horizon Dawn came, I was skeptical that Horizon Dawn was going to come out this year. I was like, yeah, sure. Well, I'll believe that when I see it. Sure enough, they had to announce it's going to get delayed to 2022. So it tells you there's nothing out there that, is really like next gen games. So, instead of you seeing Xbox guys calling this out, like, okay, so even if on the next generation game argument that you can say Xbox hasn't put games out, it's the same thing for PlayStation. Okay, PlayStation hasn't put out no real next generation full-fledged games yet, and does it even matter if you really think about it? Because as long as there is a lineup of games that are to come, right? That's all that really matters. You look at what is the lineup, because the main thing is when you buy a console, you want to know that console has a future of games that you care about, right? And that is the main thing. But you don't see these Xbox guys arguing this at all. They just submit to the fact, oh, I guess I have no games, and I guess these Sony fanboys are right. And it's like, well, we're gonna get games. It's like, you're so weak, man. You're so weak. When you don't have to submit to that, because that's hogwash. Why submit to that? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Like, so it just really pisses me off when I see these same stupid Xbox or PlayStation talking points. They're going on and on because these Xbox industry guys are so weak. You know what I mean? And they just fall for whatever stupid talking point. And they could just smash that talking point and move on, right? And then they can launch their talking points against PlayStation, which there are many of flaws of PlayStation, but they almost never go on the offensive. They're always up on their heels on the defensive, time and time again. And they wonder why they get clowned like they do, because they're so easily to be taken advantage of and be distracted. You know, a lot of these Sony fanboys literally are just trying to distract them. Okay. And they don't want them to talk about the fact Sony has no games. Literally, when it comes to their games, they are coming months in between. And now 2 of their big flagship games not only won't be coming out this year, they're literally going to be relying on things like Deathloop, which is an Xbox game. Think about how ironic that is. Like, their Sony studio games are not coming out, but one of Xbox studio games are coming out to the rescue. I just think this is so ironic. You know what I mean? It's so funny, you know, and terrible at the same time. But man, this explains like all this. If you think I got off task and you're wondering like, what does this have to do with why PlayStation is such a crap console, why they can get away with it? Well, I'm explaining why. You think about it. After all of this bickering back and forth, especially these Xbox fanboys, these Xbox guys are so weak. Sony just gets away with this at the end of it, right? Like, you don't imagine, do you hear a lot from the gaming media just how lackluster the PS5 is in regards to storage space, in regards to a storage solution, in regards to its power, think about this. Last generation, that's all you heard from Digital Foundry, all you heard from IGN, all you heard from GameSpot was this how lackluster the Xbox was versus this PS5. In the reviews, look at it. Another good example. Literally, Sony tries to shut down YouTubers from speaking the truth about how terrible of a story The Last of Us 2 was. Literally tried to shut them down. Do you hear about that in the gaming media? Was that a thing? It was like literally it happened and then it was like you didn't even hear about it. Well, think about this. Imagine if it was Microsoft that did that for any of its exclusives. You would still be hearing that now. Even though it happened months ago or years ago, you would still be hearing it. They would never let that down. It would always be a stain on Microsoft that gaming media will be talking about. You even have Xbox guys talking about it, upset about it. But see, when Sony does something, it just disappears into the ether. It's crickets. No one says anything. And this is this is a double standard that really pisses me off. Is because this is the part of the reason why we're getting a crap PlayStation 5. Because Sony literally just thinks, well, it doesn't matter what piece of crap that we push out. These idiots will still buy it anyway. And the sad, unfortunate truth is they're right. They get away with whatever the hell they want because they don't have a fan base of people who check them or who pushes them to make a great product. They don't give a shit. Any of their games that are not turns out to not be good, it just gets swept under the rug like, oh, it's still great. Look at what Digital Foundry did when it came to remember the Let's Play that Sony did just recently or not too long ago with Horizon Dawn. Okay, I watched that. And I sat there and watched both of these jackasses with Digital Foundry sit there and just ignore the pop-in that was happening on stream. And literally, that one Snaggletooth motherfucker, he sat there and just giggled and made oh, well, it's not a lot of pop-in like some others that I've seen. Literally when there was pop-in. And I mean, this game wasn't playing in 4K 60, but that didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. It wasn't 4K 60. It didn't matter. It didn't have a 4K 60 mode. All it mattered was, oh, well, this is a stylistic game and oh, it's great. All they had was great praise for it. It didn't matter what actual specs it was running in. When I thought Digital Foundry, I thought, isn't that you guys' thing? Isn't that you motherfuckers' thing to analyze every little part of it? So you're telling me you're missing pop-up that I'm visually seeing as I'm watching it. I guess it's just invisible to you, right? When you're supposed to be the guys that use these little stupid machines to just know, and one particular scene, oh, it dropped a frame or two. What the fuck? Something no other gamer will ever notice, but you guys are supposed to notice it. But you're telling me you didn't notice a pop-in, and you didn't notice that the stats of the game was not even running in a 4K 60. That's just okay, right? But see, this is the bias you see. Imagine if this was a Gears of War game or any other, something that is expected to be a graphical showcase, and instead it didn't run 4K 60 and it was having pop-in. Imagine what these same assholes from Digital Foundry would be saying, right? But when it's PlayStation, we give it a pass. We just act like it doesn't matter. See, but this is the double standard I talk about. And a lot of these old Xbox guys, they don't have the balls to talk about and just be truthful about it. It's obviously a double standard. It's right in your face time and time again, but we sit here and act like it doesn't exist. And my point is, all of this contributes to why Sony thinks it's perfectly fine to put out such a crap ass console. This is the reason why we not only got a crap console now, but we're going to continue to get crap from Sony. And another example of this is what they're doing when it comes to raising their prices to $70. Think about it. They're doing it because they think they can. They just think, hey, we can just continue to gouge our customers. We're not providing them with even a storage solution. But yet we could just we can just raise the prices. They're not even providing their customers with a 1 terabyte of space or a 1 terabyte console. Think about that. The PS4 Pro was 1 terabyte. Their PS5 is not even 1 terabyte. That tells you they're going back in progress. It's literally like, yeah, we just see these idiots are buy our crappy console no matter what. So fuck it. Why would we just we can save a shit ton of money just having it be 825 gigabytes instead of 1 terabyte on each console. You know how much money Sony's saving and sharing off? But they just think, yeah, that's perfectly fine because these idiots will buy it anyway. This is the reason why, man. This is the real reason why. What you don't hear none of these Xbox guys talking about, the real reason why Sony can just put out some piece of shit like this, because they're too busy saying it's a great console. It's like, man, this shit blows my mind, dude. It's like, Sony just sits there and takes advantage of all of its consumers, and not to mention of the shit customer service that they have. I ain't even gonna get on all the other problems that they have, man. I mean, you guys know the L's that they've been taking this generation, all the issues that they have, man. It's so numerous at this point. From the lies of they believe in generations to, I mean, it just goes on and on. The list goes on and on about all the lies that they've been telling. All the crap that they've been putting out. This one thing after another, telling you just how much of a crap company this really is. And that they don't give a shit about their consumers, but yet still people just take it in the ass and still keep doing it anyway, keep buying their stupid garbage anyway. It's like whatever, you do what you want, I can care less. But what I do care about is the right information getting out to those gamers who are on the fence, who may only be able to buy one console, and they're really looking about to see what platform that they would want to be involved in. I just feel like those gamers need the truth. They don't need a bunch of mainstream media fluff and bullshit. And, they need the truth. And if these Xbox guys ain't doing it, who the fuck else is going to do it? It's not like the mainstream media is going to do it. They're too busy trying to play with this equal equivalency, trying to play like both consoles are great and whatever. So if you don't have Xbox guys speaking up and saying the truth, where is that going to leave a lot of these gamers or newer gamers who are going to be getting into the platforms? Where is it going to leave them at? Hopefully a lot of these guys could just see what Microsoft is doing, and it would be obvious that it has much more value and much more to offer. Because if you really think about Sony, what are they doing this year? And think about it, when these games are delayed, there are 2 big flagship games delayed. We don't know when those games are really going to come out. Are they going to really come out in 2022? Now, maybe they will, but I mean, it's still a question because you don't know, right? Those games could be pushed back to 23, especially God of War, right? So, I mean, you got to think, it's like, this is the reason why Sony's doing so many buying exclusivity, buying timed exclusivity, because they know they're going to have to fill that vacuum, right? But just understand, with Sony, you're going to be sitting there, your console sitting there collecting dust while you're waiting for whenever their exclusive is going to come out. And it's really funny because it's the same thing they did last generation, but of course they're getting away with it, right? Their PS Now is a fucking joke. they don't, their business model is, we try to sell you as many of our crappy consoles as possible, and then, hey, jack up the price on our exclusive games because value, it's quality, right? Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's really quality. A one and done game that you play for 12 or 15 hours and then you throw in a corner and you never play it again. That's a shit ton of value. Like, I would never understand why people just play up a fucking action adventure game, the same action adventure game over and over again. That's a one and done game. You play it and then you throw it in the corner and you're waiting for God knows how many several months for yet another stupid action adventure game to come out just for you to play it for 12 months. It's like, what's the value in that? Xbox exclusives you can play year after year after year. Halo's still being played. Halo 1 is still being played. What are we talking about? Gears of War 1 is still being played. It's like, what are we talking? Dude, Xbox games has legs like nobody's business. But do you see these Xbox guys really harp on that and talk about? No. Another thing that they just don't speak up for, don't say anything. I just feel like Xbox doesn't really have any true, fans that will actually speak on the positive things Xbox platform has to offer. Sure, you could say guys like Cody Eastwood, yeah, they speak on those positive things. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying to the degree of what they could speak on and say, they just don't. It's just kind of like those things fall on deaf ears. Like, and they just let these Sony fanboys run the gamut with their bullshit narratives, and it just really pisses me off, man. So yeah, man, this video is getting long as hell, man. Those are just some of my thoughts, man, on this. I just wanted to kick it down, let you guys know where I was at about the real reason why Sony puts out a crap station. And it really just comes down to the gaming media lets them get away with anything and everything. And when you don't have a counter force that should be Xbox guys speaking the truth and saying out there and giving information and kicking down the research and the information to newer gamers, well, this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have Sony just running a gambit and just getting away with all this bullshit. So the only thing we can kind of hope for is, I'm noticing that with the media changing, a lot of these industry Xbox guys are starting to just speak out more about what's going on. And that's a great thing. I mean, it's sad that you need the media to actually start being a little bit more negative towards Sony and just saying some truths about Sony a little bit before these guys start growing the balls and doing it themselves. But hey, whatever it takes, at least it's happening. So yeah, man, that's gonna be my video on that, man. I appreciate for any of those that lasted all the way out to the end and still appreciate listening to my content. Until the next time, man, I'm gone.